she wanted to go meet the shaman in the Amazon jungle. So her and I got on a plane. We flew Calgary to Toronto, Toronto to Miami, Miami to Lima, Lima to Iquitos. Got on a boat, and it's a 4-hour boat ride down to the Amazon. So 31 hours later, I still didn't know how I'm going to find this shaman. The last time I'd seen him, I got bit by an ant and he saved my life, right? So I didn't know how I was going to do him. It's not like you can dial 1-800-SHAMAN. How do you find a shaman in the middle of the Amazon? So I decided I was going to hire a bunch of guides to be able to help me. But as we're pulling up to the base camp, who's standing on the end of the dock but the shaman, Don Antonio? So I started working with him, and I'd work with him over a period of time, and I've got hundreds of stories about this guy. But the bottom line, during this period of time, he was helping me gather information on the various herbs. And he was giving me various myths and songs and medicinal things about the various herbs. After about 3 or 4 days, I come across some reishi. Gamma Derma Lucidum living in the great shaman study area. I was thrilled. You can imagine my excitement, because at this point in time my book had already been translated into German and Japanese, and that's cool. So I asked, what is the medicinal purpose of this? Of course, he doesn't speak a word of English. I don't speak a word of Yagro Indian. And through the translator, it comes back to me, it has absolutely no medicinal properties at all. You can imagine how dejected I was. How could the great shaman not know all this stuff that it was used for? This didn't make any sense to me. So 3 or 4 days later, I slipped it into the conversation again and asked him what his medicinal properties were. Got the same information back. 10 days later, I was ready to leave there, and we'd lined up a bunch of herbs on a kind of a picnic table there to go through, and I was sitting down there going through his favorite herbs and documenting some stuff in my journal, and I slipped the reishi in with it. Just to see, if perseverance might do or whatever. And this time he did tell me. So I go, what does this mushroom do? Now, Don Antonio, we don't know how old he is, but he's quite old. He doesn't have a day of Western education, so he has no scientific knowledge of anything. He just lived in the jungle. But his knowledge was better than most people's, probably better than 5 PhDs. In fact, I was literally, the first day I met him, I was with about 15 PhDs studying ethnobotanical things in the Amazon jungle, and he knew more about the trees and the biochemistry that's flowing through the trees than all the PhDs put together. There's no question about it. So he knew what he was talking about. But he looks at me and he says, what you think is a herb is not a herb at all. It's just a fruit. And the real fruit lives underground. I says, whoa, that's pretty cool. He knows about this mycelium stuff, right? Which is scientifically true, but he'd intuit that. And he says, and the real tree is very, very large. In fact, it's so large it takes over the whole jungle. We do know mycelium masses are that large now, by the way. And it's lived here for thousands of years. In fact, it's so old, it was here before the jungle was here. Because it was here before the jungle was here, it knows every plant in the jungle. It knows every tree, it knows every insect, it knows every bird, it knows every animal, it knows every insect. So when we go to the big city of Iquitos, sometimes we get spaced out. So we take this with us and we chew on it, and it helps us communicate back to the mothership in the jungle. And it helps vibe us into the right channel. So basically what reishi does, it tunes you into the radio station REI, SHI, beaming you the vibes of Gaia all day long. Oh my God. He summed up in a paragraph what I've been trying to articulate and understand for years. He was the first person that showed me that reishi can help us communicate with the mycelium mat on the planet. And in the process of helping us communicate with that mat, it helps ground us out. So the great shaman Don Antonio showed me how to work with the epigenetic receptor sites of our planet, Gaia. I've since learned, and I've recorded an awful lot of the information I've talked about today on how the chakras work and the various letters and stuff like that of the Mayans in a book I did on flower essences, because the biggest thing that's confusing us for being able to connect with Gaia is our own emotional debris. So there's a realm in herbal medicine called flower essences. So I've developed a set of flower essences you can get in your health food stores, and it's for going through the various emotional traumas we're going through. Especially things like the 9/11. And a couple weeks after 9/11, oh my God, I had all these patients coming in freaked out. So I had to create a product called Rescue ER to be able to help them go through those anxieties. It's literally designed to help people go through crises. And because of that, I've designed all kinds of different flower essence that help deal with our own individual things. And you can go online and do question sheets there for free and help tell you what flower essence would be best for you. And we can custom make them for you. It's really quite simple. We also have a flower essence course if you want to get more in depth in that. We do it 2 to 3 times a year in classroom. We have it on DVD, and of course now we have it on online interactive, so you can be able to learn it that way in your own spare time. But learning how the flower essences work, that really helps clear out our energy levels so we can connect to Gaia and our Father better. The First Nation people used a thing called the ghost dance. It was very, very important a little over a century ago. And my good friend Brooke Medicine Eagle took us on a ghost dance last summer. And we went through the process of practicing how to be able to pound our intention into the earth. Circular rituals really work. I'd love to bring Brooke up here to do a ghost dance one of these days. Geez, I bet you she likes chocolate. You know, I think she'd be a real adjunct for her doing something like this. This is a very powerful medicine woman who just lives across the border and probably written 15 books on this. And she has a huge international following. And she does the ghost dance. And by doing the ghost dance, you compound your intention into the planet. And I know I could talk her into coming up here. Anyway, that's what I prepared for today. Of course, it doesn't have that much to do with herbs and stuff like that. It has to do with our translation of consciousness. How we can move from the 3rd dimension into the 5th dimension. How we can do this smoothly. How we can go through the epochic situation that we're going through in and around the 2012 period of time. When it's going to happen, it could happen in moments. It could happen in 2015. But we're going through this process right now, and it's time for us to become good receptor sites. Any questions? Well, I have to go then. That's all, folks. I'm thinking there